Welcome to our new episode of our Dream to Rise podcast. And I have here with me a guest speaker whom I have met and have joined my anthology book, Dream to Rise anthology book. And I'm so blessed to have her with me to share her story. And she is actually a dedicated Christian wife, mother of six, homeschool teacher, certified hospice nurse, newly published author, entrepreneur, owner of Hospice Body LLC, and she has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a genetic connective tissue disorder. She has always been a hard worker, a team player, a leader, and motivated to help in people in any way she could, while constantly craving to learn more about diseases, end of life, and the afterlife. She discovered her passion for hospice care for 16 years ago and loved helping patients and families find comfort and peace at end of life. Although she struggles with chronic pain, fatigue, chronic illness, she had her share of personal struggles. She pushes through and not let it stop her from accomplishing her dreams and goals. She believes that God has a plan for her, and every experience in her life has happened to make her the woman she is today. Last February 2023, she actually asked God to show her real purpose in life and to clear the path and connect her with the right people to make it happen. God truly delivered. She immediately started an end of life coaching and support service to complement the care provided by traditional hospice and palliative care services. Hospice Body features not only coaching and support services, but also an online store, an educational blog, and articles to help people understand and work through the changes and challenges experienced during the end of the process. Her goal is to become a successful and financially independent business owner and at the same time continue to help people. So without further ado, let us all welcome Jamie Haberman. How are you, Jamie?
Good, thank you.
Welcome, and it's an honor to have you, Jamie, in this podcast because just like what you have shared with us, I mean, in your introduction, in the bio which you shared, it's really going through the trauma, rising up, and now you have evolved. And we still all continue to learn. And that's always, I think, while we still live, we continue to learn, right? And
Yes, absolutely.
that's the thing. So let us start, Jamie. Would you like, I hope you'll be able to share with us your story. Tell us something about yourself that brought you to where you are right now.
So when I was 17, I had my first child, and that was kind of, what launched my struggles, I think, having to try to finish high school and also be a mother. Um, and my parents refused to let me give up on anything. And so they were really helpful. And a lot of my family and friends helped me to um, raise my son so I could finish high school and go to college. So I had a lot of support in that. Um, and then, I've had this connective tissue disorder, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, my whole life. And so I've always been very fatigued and having a lot of pain with doctors not listening to me. And that was another challenge because sometimes you just don't feel like doing anything, but you have to push yourself and keep going. Um, I've had some bad relationships along the way, some controlling ones. Um, but I think that you find your way through those. And even when they don't work out the way you had anticipated, you learn from them and you grow from those experiences. Um, and it makes you take a look at yourself and what you will and will not accept, and finding your own value within those hardships.
Mhm.
Um, so one night, I've really loved my job in hospice. I've been doing it for 16 years, and it means a lot to me. I like being there for the families. I like that personal connection and teaching them how to care for somebody at end of life and what to expect. And so, even though I really love my job, I feel like I don't get to spend the time and energy with the people that I want to, um, because the healthcare system is so kind of constricted. You have so much time with this person and you have to move on to the next thing to keep going. And after leaving the bedside due to my physical problems and it being hard on me to, um, care for people physically anymore, I wanted to find a way where I could work from home, but still use my nursing background and still be involved in hospice. And so one night I had prayed for God to show me how He wanted me, you know, to use me how He needed me to work, and how I could help others while still being able to care for myself, my work and family balance, and just keep doing what I've been doing and what I've been good at. And so I had this idea to create, this end of life coaching service where I can spend that one on one time with people, um, explain the changes and help prepare them for the passing of their loved one, um, and supporting them through that so they're not living with heartache for a long time thinking, they should have done something different, they could have done something different, um, and finding peace in that. So I think, that was a big part of it, is just overcoming a lot of obstacles to get to where I am today.
So can you share with us, when was that time we're in? Um, this is with all those traumas you have experienced. I have to stand up, rise up, because I'm sure you got stuck in that dark bubble. No? I'm glad that you had supportive family members and friends, but um, and it took you some time for sure to rise up again. And what made you decide to stand up and then start moving forward?
Um, about 8 years ago, my grandfather was on hospice, and that was really hard for me because we had a very special connection. And I was going through a lot of drama with my previous relationship, of him being, manipulative, and that was a really hard time for me. I was also working two jobs at once, day shift at the hospital, in an oncology clinic, and then night shift working, hospice. And there were days I wouldn't come home for 36 hours straight because I was just working so much.
Oh,
And I got to the point where I hated life. I would I would fantasize about dying. I wanted to drive my car into a brick wall and just call it done. But I was too scared to die, and I was too scared to have somebody find me that way, or that my children wouldn't have me in their lives anymore. And I think that one day when I actually did get in a car accident, I actually did hit a brick wall
oh,
and I lived through it. That was very eye opening to me. Um, and when my grandfather had passed, we had some very intimate conversations at the bedside. And granted, he was confused, because he was nearing end of life, but those conversations really stuck with me and made me think, like, after he passed and after my accident, like, I really need to get this together. I have to figure out some way to be happy because I deserve better than this. And I can do great things if I push myself in the direction that I need to be going. And what I was doing was not working for me. So I started to rely heavily um, on God and on my faith to get me through things and praying through things. And, if I had a goal, I've always been one to write it down because I want to make sure that I can meet that goal because I love to check it off. So, just that was the big part of it is between my grandfather dying, the bad relationship and the car accident that really opened my eyes. And I think that might have been like my lowest of lows.
Would you mind sharing? Sorry, if it's okay with you, would you mind sharing what was the main message of your grandfather that made you really, oh, that opened your eyes? I don't know if it's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Um, so most of my family really hated my boyfriend. They could see what he was doing. But
Uh-huh.
when you're in that situation, although you can see it, I think you're still in denial or you don't know the way out because if you get out, you don't know how you're going to pick up the pieces and go on.
Uh-huh.
And you just kind of suffer through it, hoping it's going to get better.
Yeah.
My grandfather on his deathbed had told me to throw my boyfriend out the window.
Oh.
And I mean, he was confused. He was at end of life and people say things that, don't always make sense, but that specific sentence, it like really hit me. And I'm like, okay, if my grandfather does not like this person and he's telling me to throw him out the window, I knew what he meant. And I knew that he knew I was not in a place that I wanted to be. And then letting off that extra weight would allow me to breathe a little bit better.
Mhm. Yeah, I know it's hard to let go of a relationship, especially if you're really in love. And if you mentioned that you were in an abusive relationship, right? And the symptom of an abused victim is you are always at fault, right?
Yeah,
And then,
exactly.
and oh, I was the one who provoked him to do this and to shout at me and to throw things and hit me, and not knowing that it's really you're living with a narcissistic person, and our parents, our
Yeah.
family members, they always want the best for us, especially your grandfather. If you really had a very close relationship with him, then I know sometimes it's tough love.
Yeah, exactly. It is. And, a lot of my family had kind of all those relationships that I had with my family. We were always a very close family. And because of that one particular relationship, all of the rest of my relationships got really strained. And I
Oh,
wasn't being invited to things because they knew if I went, he had to come. Um, or if I went alone, he would just show up or he would be continually calling me. And it was that sort of control and manipulation that my family really clearly saw, but I felt stuck in that moment. I didn't know what to do about it. So um, when I had the opportunity, I made my exit and
were
everything
you,
has gone pretty much uphill from there. I think I
yeah.
really needed to just shed that extra weight and that stress to move on with my own goals and dreams.
Was it hard for you to tell him that enough is enough and I have to leave you? Was it hard?
Um, well, I had tried quite a few times throughout the relationship. And because we had two small children together, it was hard. And, I did like have hope at times that things would get better, but I knew he had been this way long before me. It wasn't going to change. I didn't see it changing and I didn't see things improving. So I think when my grandfather finally died, I somehow found that strength to say, okay, I'm done and put my foot down and got a restraining order, and then people started coming into my life, like my current husband, who saw those things that were going on and saw that I was struggling and I was broken and I really needed someone to uplift me and help me through those things. And so I found family and friends and mended those connections. And my current husband has been amazing in being supportive of everything that I've been doing.
And it makes a difference if you're surrounded by people who would lift you up, who believe
Yes.
in you, and who would give you that positive energy to really, hey, you can do it, uh, to push you, no? And so you'll be able to see your potential. It makes a difference. If you are in a toxic environment, toxic relationship, well, that's that's the thing that you have to go through. I've gone through that situation as well, and it was hard. It took me 6 long years, but eh, you really need to make a decision. It is for
Yeah.
you and for your children. How did it impacted the children when you left him? Were they happy?
They were still fairly young. So
Ah, they
my
was okay.
yeah, the one, I mean, he was only 15 months, so I don't think he really
Hmm.
knew all that much because really he hadn't been home. I mean, he was always gone doing his own things. Um, I never, and if even if I was working, the kids would usually be at a babysitter's and he was doing whatever he was doing. So I think for my youngest, who was 15 months at the time, I don't think he really knew. My daughter, she was about 3 at the time. Um, and I think that initially it was probably confusing for her. Um, there was one day where she saw a cop car, and when it drove past, she said, "My daddy's in that car."
Oh,
And that was, he wasn't, but I think she had seen him in that situation
oh,
so many times that she assumed when she saw a cop car, her dad
already
was in
stuck
it.
in her
Yeah.
mind. It's
And
always her.
so after I would say a few months, I didn't really hear anything more about it. And I had started my relationship with my current husband fairly quickly afterwards. I didn't mean to, things just kind of happened. And I think God placed him in my life because I needed him in that moment to help uplift me and to help me with the children and show me, my worth
Mhm.
and that
Did,
that I was more than
yes,
my brokenness.
yes. So how are you now with you just left him, and was there a time wherein he came back to apologize, and then for both of you to come into good terms, probably as a friend or what?
Well, I had the restraining order, which was really helpful. And then if he did come by, I would just call the cops and, they would come
But now,
get him or take him away. And also my current husband had chased him down a few times when he caught him coming towards the house. So it
oh,
was really, I mean, my husband has been like the roadblock, like
mhm. So up to
not
now,
letting that happen anymore.
yeah,
Yeah.
so up to now you haven't connected with him, or there's no
No,
connection. Oh, good.
no.
And I'm glad that he stopped
Yeah.
stalking or whatever, following you.
It was an intense time of my life, but
Uh,
I'm really glad that God put me in the connection with my husband and the people that I needed to pull myself out of that situation and to open my eyes to my potential and what I can accomplish when I don't have somebody telling me I can't do things.
mhm. And it's so nice that you have this good relationship with God, personal relationship with Him, because you were able to converse and communicate with Him how to handle this. And I know, I believe in God that He will always make a way despite all the challenges. And His plan is always the best plan. And how do you feel in terms of what you have gone through, and now you're living your purpose, do you regret having all those traumas?
I don't. Although it was hard and I was really probably at the lowest point of my life, um, we've grown from those experiences and we've learned things about ourselves and about other people and learning how to find your worth and your purpose, um, and just making those positive changes and setting goals and meeting them and not letting anything get in your way to stop you.
I'm glad. I'm glad. And look at what you have become. You've
Yeah,
become a better version of yourself. And
absolutely.
and you're
It's
you
about becoming the best version of yourself that you can be.
yes, and you look very happy, very at peace. That's nice. So what can you share with us? So that's already you have already manifested what you want to manifest in life, you know. Now since you're doing this coaching thing for the family members who's who hard to taking care of their uh family member who is ending their life. It's kind of sad. It's hard to deal with this, no, especially people who are ending their lives. I admire you, and I'm so proud of you that you were able to choose this path and giving uplifting people, so despite what they're going through. And I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. So what would be your goal for the next 12 months?
Um, well, currently I'm working full time in a normal job. And then I've also been starting my business for the past 4.5 months. I would love to just be able to do my business and focus on that full time and be successful at it and help people in the way I feel that they could use the help and support and education. I think hospice provides really great services, really much needed services with the visits from chaplains and social workers and um, the nurses and aides to help coordinate that care so people can stay at home. But those visits are brief, and you have so many people coming in to see that person. And wouldn't it be nice if they had one person that they talk to every day to support them through that they know what's coming up, they know what to expect, and can help work through those emotions with them. And then that experience isn't so scary. Yes, it's going to hurt because we're human and we have emotions, and this is not an easy subject. It's definitely going to hurt. But I think when you're a bit more prepared for what's coming, when you realize what the normal process of death looks like, and you don't hold on to those regrets, I think it makes it a little bit easier. And when you have that one person who understands what you're going through, I may not have experienced it myself, um, losing my mother or a sister, or, you know, I'm not on that side of the bed, but I do see it every day. I've seen more death than I could possibly count. Um, and I think that's a really important connection to make, is that I think we all need somebody to talk to and rely on who understands what we're going through and what our loved one is going through.
I agree with you. So are you doing this online or visiting them, the families?
It's all online, because I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and I dislocate my joints often. I was having a really hard time with the bedside nursing.
Mm,
When I would go to boost somebody up, my shoulder would come out or my finger would come out, or my back would be hurting really bad by the end of the night. So
mhm.
I had to find a way to work from home, and
Okay.
I can't do that physical work anymore. So it's all been online. But just as well, you can teach people how to do this stuff. And at my current job, I'm a triage nurse and I take the calls all night long, educating people. I mean, this is what I do every day, full time.
Mhm.
But the difference in my business is I'm going to be able to contact those people more often and
Mm,
be for them for a longer, uh, be with them for a longer period of time, not just that quick 3-minute phone call and I don't hear from them again.
mhm.
Um,
I know the type of work is also draining, no? Especially if you um, meet with different family members who are really down and then emotionally down, crying and so on. How do you prepare yourself in terms of how to deal with them? Because if if it I've heard a lot of people, it impacted them in terms of their negative energy. It passes on to you, and then it impacts your health and well-being, that includes your emotional, mental, and physical. So how do you prepare yourself so that you have that energy to share with other people?
yeah. I think, after doing it for so long, you do put up sort of a wall. You
Um,
kind of learn how to make a boundary, and there are patients and families that you're going to connect with more. That's just natural. Either you get along with them really well, you have something in common, they're the same age, maybe they have children that are your children's ages, and you tend to make those connections. And those ones do get hard. Um, or when you have a family that's really upset and takes their anger out on you, um, those experiences can really impact you and really make you feel down and, um, kind of the same thing that I'm doing. You need someone to talk to. You need someone to vent to. And my husband is a great listener. And so when I'm really having a tough day or I've been going through something, obviously for patient confidentiality, I'm not going into detail with him, but I can tell him about an experience and he knows how it's affecting me. He can pick up on it. And, he has a good way to uplift me and turn that around for me so I don't hold on to that negativity.
that's nice. That's why it's so important to have someone with you and then
Hmm.
share your experience, your feeling, and then they will just help you do that 180 shift.
Yeah.
So what do you think? So your goal is to continue with your business, which you have started 4.5 months ago. What is it that you want to to do to make a change in terms of your business so that it would start booming?
Um, Getting more clients would be one,
Uh-huh.
pulling people in and getting um, the visibility that I need so people realize that this is something I'm trying to do and I'm trying to be there for you. And I'm not doing this for any other purpose than I want to help people
Yeah,
understand this process so they can heal. Um, I would love to be able to quit my job and just do this full time, and just be really financially independent, not having to work anybody else's hours but my own, or living under anybody else's rules but my own, um,
and that's
and
nice.
helping people the way I want to help them.
That's nice. So, what do you think would be the major roadblock for you to make your dream, these goals, a reality?
One of them is doing videos. I really actually do not like being on camera, um, but I'm getting better. I'm learning to overcome that. But I do have plans. I'm going to be putting out videos eventually of
So these are
how
the things
to,
that I was asking. These
yes,
goals, your goals, the doing
yes,
videos. Actually, you have already started with this
yeah,
podcast, and
yeah, exactly. But I want to do like how-to videos, how to change somebody in the bed, how to change the sheets when somebody's in the bed, um, transferring people, or, just basic caregiving skills that I think would be really helpful. Um, Sometimes somebody comes home from the hospital and the caregivers, they have no idea how to take care of somebody. They've never done it before. They're not comfortable with it. They don't even know where to start. And I think by having videos like that, it would be really helpful so they could, you know, learn easier techniques of, what we do
Mhm.
and, you know,
These are
making it a bit easier on
very good
themselves.
tools. These are very good
Yeah.
tools. And I'm
Mhm.
assuming this is part of your 12-month goals.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I'd like to have it up, hope some of them by the end of this year, but yeah, definitely in 12 months, I plan to have quite a few made.
Okay. So again, I'm going back to my last question. What would be the major roadblock for you to come up with these videos?
Getting over my fear of the cameras. It's, that's the biggest thing is I don't know. I think I'm traumatized from speech class in high school. They used to make us record it and go back and watch it and critique ourselves. And since then, I've never, ever liked watching myself on video. And so that's been a big part of it is I just don't like it, but I'm trying to get over it. I'm trying to, I know what I'm doing is good and I know it's never as bad as I feel it is. And
Yeah.
I just need to get over that fear of cameras.
You know what? I'm from the Philippines. I have a very strong accent. And my children who grew up here, they have been laughing at me whenever I talk because they all would always laugh at my accent. Oh, mom, the Filipino accent again. They would always tell me. But I told myself that the that made me stop also, or made me think, oh my, I might not be that effective if I have that kind of accent. But but whenever I share that problem or that roadblock, the others were telling me, hey, but you're inspiring other people and we get your message. So whenever they make fun of my accent, excuse me, I would tell them, excuse me, other people, they love to listen to my advice, not really advice or my insights, my story, because it inspires them. So they just stop. As long
Yeah.
as we
But
know.
also
Uh-huh,
English is one of the hardest languages. We have so many nuances
uh-huh,
and it's not easy for many people. I mean, I when I because I'm in Florida, we have so many different cultures down here. We're
uh-huh.
really like a melting pot. And I've worked with, the Filipino people and people from Haiti and, you know, Spanish speaking people, and everybody's got a thick accent down here. And when you close your eyes and you turn your head and you just listen, they, you learn some great things, but you know, it's not an easy language, and you
Yes,
know,
yes, especially
and people
when,
want to hear your message, and
yeah,
good for you.
that's the most important thing. That's why
Yeah.
we are here, just like what you've shared. The Lord spoke to you, and the Lord spoke to me uh, to continue doing what we're doing, and that is making an impact on other people's lives. So before we end, would you like to share a simple advice to our listeners? What advice would you like to share with us based on
Whatever you
what you
love
have
to
done?
do,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, whatever you love to do, whatever you find you're really good at that really interests you, find a way to make it profitable for you. When you have a love of something, I don't care if it's building Legos, there is something in our amazing country and all the technology that we have. There is something that you can do with that. So you can do what you love and be rewarded by it. And helping other people is like a big part of that. What can you do that you love that helps other people, and to go for it and to set goals, and don't let anybody stop you, and don't listen to anybody's negativity. If you feel in your heart that you're supposed to be doing something, do it, and block out everything else because you know that you're following the path that you should be on.
Yeah, lovely, lovely. So would you like to share your the links or whatever? How could they connect with you?
Yeah, you can go to hospicebuddy.com. That's
Mhm.
my main website. Otherwise, I post most of my stuff on Facebook, and that's also Hospice Buddy, and Instagram. I have an account there I started recently, also called Hospice Buddy. So either one of those places you can find me.
Do you
I
have an
also have a
account
lot of.
in LinkedIn as well?
I do have a LinkedIn account. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Um, Same thing, Hospice Buddy. There's also a platform called Medium, and it's a writing platform. Um, I have a lot of things posted on there. I've been trying to go over certain symptoms that people experience, certain decisions that people will have to make, things related to end of life that need to be considered or taught on or explained at length. And so I did write a lot of blog posts about certain symptoms or experiences that people really do need to consider at end of life, as well as resources that are available for them.
That's great. That's great. And by the way, take note that our Dream to Rise Dream to Rise anthology book is coming out soon, by the end of this year, and Jamie is included, is one of the co-authors. 30 of us will be writing our own stories. And again, this is another way of sharing our message to the world. And I'm so happy that Jamie joined me in this endeavor, plus the other 29 authors and 28 authors. So I'm truly grateful that we have another mission, that you're part of this mission, and we'll spread the word again, yeah,
Yes, thank
impacting
you.
other people. And that's a great way to really live our purpose. Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah. Make a difference for other people and uplift others.
Yes, yes. So thank you so much, Jamie, for your time. And I'm truly honored to have you here in this
Thank you.
podcast. Okay. Thank you. And have a blessed day to all. See you next time. Next episode.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. Bye.